Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. You're listening to the longest running superhero role playing game on Earth. I'm your host, the Game Master, and today we're talking about Superman, Lex Luthor, Brainiac, and just all sorts of stuff. But before we get into that, smash that like button, make sure you're still subscribed, and as always, leave us a comment. We've got an awesome community here, and it's all thanks to you. So thank you so much for being here. With all that said, let's dive in. The prologue to this one takes place on December 31st of 1999 in Metropolis. Clark Kent and Lois Lane watch the ball drop on New Year's Eve, and as soon as it does, there's a blackout. Everyone thinks it's Y2K, but it's actually Brainiac 2.5. Brainiac is at the main LexCorp tower where he uses telekinesis to lift Lex Luthor Jr. into the air. As Brainiac monologues, he tells Lex that when they last did battle and Lex thought Brainiac had been destroyed for good, Brainiac's mind hitched a ride in Luthor's own computer systems. And when LexCorp created software to try to protect the whole world from the threat of Y2K, Brainiac's software was like a virus in every piece of digital technology in the world. So at the stroke of midnight, he took inspiration from humanity's fears and he shut everything down. All around the world, things have gone wrong. The 1980s Superboy, the one formerly known as Lord Zod, proposes to the 1990s Supergirl, who is the Earth-born angel of fire, when suddenly the lights go out. Aquawoman, aka Andrina Andy Curry, is dealing with various problems at sea. The new Batman, aka Terry McGinnis, has his hands full in Gotham City, which was recently declared to be a no man's land. The Flash, aka Dawn Allen, is dealing with Central City and Keystone City, being careful not to outrun her flashlight's beam. The Green Lantern, aka Jessica Jordan, is in Hollywood. John Henry Irons is being attacked by his own battlesuits. The Martian Manhunter, aka Kim Johns, is at the watchtower monitoring everything and trying to get the teleporters up and working again. Plastic Man, aka Eel O'Brien, is safely landing an airplane. Shadowstorm and Torch have been transformed into Umbra and Pulsar, and they're dealing with a villain named Nihilist. Wonder Woman is dealing with rioters in Chicago, and Superman sees 2,000 nuclear missiles have been launched. So he recruits the 1980s Superboy and the 1990s Supergirl to help him. And together they get to work stopping the missiles. As they do, Supergirl says, "By the way, yes." Superboy says, "Yes?" And Supergirl says, "Yes, yes, I will marry you." On Earth, the various robot heroes like the Metal Men and Red Tornado have been infected by the Brainiac virus, so they attack. The Superman family destroys the missiles at super speed, then flies back towards Earth. And as they do so, Superman sees the engagement ring on Supergirl's finger. She smiles, and he gives her one of those famous pre crisis winks of his. It's his way of officially welcoming her to the family, since she'll be marrying his son. Elsewhere, Brainiac 2.5 receives a strange message from the future. Brainiac 13 saw this as a critical moment in history, one where Brainiac 2.5 had almost won. So Brainiac 13 transmits his mind back in time and forces Brainiac 2.5 to evolve into Brainiac 13. And Brainiac's nanotechnology transforms Metropolis into the literal city of tomorrow. Which brings us to the main plot, which takes place on January 1st of the year 2000. People are adjusting to the terraforming of Earth. Nanoscopic robots have rebuilt anything and everything that's not organic. And walking through the futuristic towers of the city is Brainiac 13, who is the size of the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man. Brainiac 13 punches Superman, doing damage, and Superman returns fire. But this Brainiac 13 is intangible. This is actually a hard light hologram. Brainiac 13 hits Superman, knocking him through the city and into Metallo, who was upgraded by the demon Neuron a few years back, and now he can absorb technology. So Metallo is kaiju sized as well. Superman's son and his soon to be daughter in law, Supergirl, attack Metallo, while Superman flies after Brainiac 13 again. At LexCorp Tower, Lex Luthor Jr. tries to enter the front door, but it denies him access. He tries another way in, but is still denied. That's when Lex Luthor's infant daughter, Lena Luthor, reveals that she has been possessed by the original Brainiac, whose mind was forced out of its body when Brainiac 13 assumed control. The original Brainiac then used personality transfer to hitch a ride in an available humanoid form, one without the willpower to resist him. Back where Metallo is, he opens his chest cavity, revealing a huge kryptonite heart. Superboy's dad is Superman, who, of course, is fully vulnerable to kryptonite. But Superboy's mother, Barbara, became Superwoman by being exposed to sunstone crystal, not unlike the crystals that turned Shadowstorm into Umbra and Torch into Pulsar. Point being, Barbara did not have a weakness to kryptonite, so Superboy is somewhat vulnerable, but not as much as his father is. So the attack doesn't go as well as Metallo had hoped. And Superboy uses the skills he picked up in the 90s, fighting Sentinels all the time, to rip a light pole out of the ground and then use it like a giant baseball bat, knocking out Metallo's heart. While in the assimilated LexCorp building, Luthor speaks with Brainiac 1, who is still in the body of baby Lena Luthor. Brainiac tells Lex to head to the 100th floor, which is going to be hard since everything here is now covered in circuitry and robotic spiders roam the corridors. Elsewhere, a colossal train that has been assimilated by the nanotechnology takes its hundreds of passengers to one of Brainiac 13's indoctrination stations, where victims bear the mark of Brainiac on their foreheads. It's three glowing circles connecting by V-shaped lines. Just then, Superman bursts through a wall and rescues those who need it, only for Brainiac 13 to burst in and attack Superman with purple mechanical tendrils, each one ending in a sharp interface spike. That's when the Eradicator shows up. He fights Brainiac 13, taking the villain completely off guard. Superman says he doesn't know if he should be happy or afraid that the Eradicator has returned to Earth. The Eradicator tells Superman to be afraid. He explains that he has a tie to some Kryptonian technology stored in the Fortress of Solitude that alerted him to the fact that Brainiac 13 had assimilated the planet. Meanwhile, John Henry Irons and his niece, Natasha Nat Irons, are being attacked by the steel armor, and Superman Red swings by to save them. Superman Blue, aka Clark Kent, and the Eradicator fly to the Fortress of Solitude, and Superman Blue notices a Kryptonian war suit is missing. In LexCorp Tower, Lex Luthor and Lena Luthor / Brainiac 1 are inside of the massive Kryptonian warsuit because Brainiac 13 is not compatible with Kryptonian technology. In the streets outside of LexCorp Towers, Superman Blue returns with Kalex, a Kryptonian droid he took from the Fortress of Solitude. As they fly through Metropolis, they see more citizens have received the mark of Brainiac on their foreheads. Team Luthor then uses the stolen warsuit to attack Brainiac 13. The villain commands all the robotic characters that were hacked to obtain that warsuit for him so he can figure out how to interface with it and then assimilate Kryptonian technology as well. Superman and Lex Luthor team up, and thanks to personality transfer, Brainiac 13's mind is placed in the Kryptonian warsuit, and the villain is defeated because he doesn't know how to interface with this technology that he's trapped in. But the rest of the assimilated technology remains. Metropolis is still the city of tomorrow, which brings us to our epilogue, which takes place 1 week later. Worldwide power and infrastructure are again stable. Scientists are baffled by the transformation. Lex Luthor registered over 500 patents in a 2-day period. Superman pays Lex a visit to ask him if it was worth trading baby Lena in exchange for understanding how all this new technology works. And Lex says he paid in full. Meanwhile, the original Brainiac uses technology to age Lena to adulthood and give her incredible powers. Now possessing green skin and blonde hair, he would return as a thrall of Brainiac, warning Luthor about the coming of Imperiex and cautioning him that Superman will be needed as never before. But that's a story for another day. We enjoyed this one. We hope you did too. If so, as always, smash like, make sure you're subscribed, and be sure to leave us a comment. And from all of us here at the longest running superhero role playing game on earth, we hope you have a good one, and we'll see you in the next adventure. Bye.